This could legitimately be a huge update, not just from the perspective of more native tier 2s and Epic Quest Deluxe Pack characters getting tier 4s as we've seen 2024 want to do, but also just because of the breadth of characters. You've got universals, you've got combats, you've got blast types. We don't have speed types, but wait till we see Valeria's typing and Franklin's typing, which I didn't even talk about in yesterday's video, but it's very likely that one of them could be a speed type. You know how they like to make, the Kid Kaijus of the world speed types. I could see Franklin being universal given his power set, creating pocket dimensions and whatnot, but he is still a human. Rarely do we see humans in Marvel Future Fight being added as universals unless they're really tip-top kings like my boy Sentry. But yeah, typings aside, there is really a nice gamut of different characters from, sometimes meta, past meta, to like never been meta, to even things like tier 2s. That's right, Victorious. I mentioned this in yesterday's video briefly, but what I want to focus on today is some of the villains that could be seeing an upgrade with this Fantastic Four update. Now, there's always an opportunity to get new villains, new bosses, new GBRs, etc. And I've always said in pretty much any opportunity that I'm given, Annihilus would be an amazing boss, and he does tangle and tango with the Fantastic Four, Blastar, Mole Man, etc. But focusing on characters that we know are in the game, and focusing on characters that are highly likely to get upgrades given their proximity to the Fantastic Four. The first up, obviously, is Doctor Doom. This is a big one here. I think most people are very excited and looking forward to Doctor Doom, one of the most popular villains, in my opinion, in the game, and certainly one that would bring back a Doctor Doom meta should he get a tier 4. Now, given his revive, given his native chance to penetrate, PvP is the most likely place to find Doctor Doom for sure. But if you recall, back when this uniform was released, he was actually pretty good for PvE as well. So I sort of expect them to do a sort of hybrid role for Doctor Doom and make him strong enough. However, what I do want to discuss here is, given that we have this look for him, and given that we have this sort of made-up look for him, what is really left? And I know what you're thinking, and we'll get to it real soon, but obviously if you Google Doctor Doom and you just scroll through Google Images, a lot of it is just what we've already seen, right? It's just the base look for Doctor Doom with some variations, right? Usually it's in the mask where he has some kind of variation, or maybe they add a lot of fur to his shoulders, to his pauldrons. There are a couple of more recent changes to Doctor Doom, brief changes, temporary changes that look really cool, like the Hellfire Gala. So if you Google Hellfire Gala, you will get a version of Doctor Doom that is really cool and really unique. So I think this seriously is on the table if we get a Doctor Doom upgrade in this update or in a mid-month. I certainly think that it's possible that we could be seeing this version of Doctor Doom. However, the one that I think most people are expecting to see is God Emperor. That's the one that I think most people these days are like, man, we need white Doctor Doom, right? We need basically the superior Iron Man treatment, but for Doctor Doom. And so this is, arguably or probably just not arguably, just straight up the most powerful version of Doctor Doom. He turns Thanos into a doctor's example in his office. When they have the skeletons up on those whatever. Yeah, he basically one-taps Thanos, and he's very, very strong, just to put it, in those terms. He's super duper strong. So I think this is the other big option for Doctor Doom. This one is probably more asked for and more requested by the player base, and no surprise there, his name is literally God Emperor. Like, it's a super sick name. He looks really cool. His power set obviously goes to 10. He's even in Fortnite. I didn't even know that. I don't even know if that's clickbait or not, but that's crazy if he is. But yeah, he's in other games already. He's very, very cool. So I would kind of... This can't be clickbait. That's hilarious. Okay. Anyways, I gotta stop getting distracted with Fortnite. Yeah, it's likely that we'll see the God Emperor Doom or we'll see Hellfire Gala Doom. I don't see them personally coming up with another unique, original design for Doctor Doom, but it's always possible. With Doctor Doom comes Victorious, and I urge the devs, if they, well, urging the devs at this point would be pointless, but I guess I urge the devs, if they didn't do anything for Victorious and they have the opportunity next update or the update after that, not specifically for Victorious, but whenever there's an update and there's a character that could fit in the update, and the character is tier 2, please just give them a tier 3. Like, even if you don't give them a uniform, just give the character a tier 3. We just need to get rid of the tier 2s in the game. I don't know how to stress this enough. There hasn't been content for tier 2s in Marvel Future Fight for like 4 years now. Like, it's over. It's so beyond over that it shouldn't even be something that we talk about. But yeah, Victorious absolutely has an opportunity to get a tier 3 or whatever, I guess a Transcendence, whenever Doctor Doom is mentioned. One of the more unique characters, given the fact that she is a support that a lot of people forget about, where she applies HP to all allies, and she's also one of the only characters, along with Destroyer, that only has 4 abilities. But she was actually pretty good once upon a time for PvP, despite not having iframe ignore, and that's pretty crazy. And the main reason for that is she's the OG HP damage dealing character. We know of Hulk nowadays, who deals damage based on his HP, but back in 2019, this was the gold standard, and it was Victorious. And you can see all of her skills deal energy damage that scales off of her HP. And her third skill, interestingly, Cosmic Javelin, it increases her... Is it her third skill or her fourth skill? It's her fourth skill that basically reduces her HP. It cuts her HP in half by multiplying it by 100%. It's kind of weird, but basically, like, she looks like she took half of her HP in damage because her HP gets doubled. So her max HP doubles for 10 seconds, and then she also gets a shield, and she also decreases... Like, this is actually a crazy skill when you read it, and this was back in 2019. It decreases basic damage received by 60% for 10 seconds. And because she only has 4 skills, you have to remember the autoplay rotation is much more generous because there's only 4 skills, so she gets around to all of them. And so because of that, you can have a permanent 60% damage reduction up, along with an HP shield that's from a CTP. That 35% is on a regen, right? And she doubles her HP, which is already decent at 76,000 for my account here. So I think she has a huge opportunity to be relevant in the PvP meta, despite not having, Revive or Immortality. So I would watch for this one because, yeah, I think she absolutely represents a threat and could make a really cool team up with Hulk if you put them both on a team, because they're both HP based damage dealers, which I think is really, really dope. And she also has the Doctor Doom leadership. So yeah, I still really like Victorious. I was really happy when she came out. Very unique character, very creative, and I think it's high time that she gets her due, because she's just really, really cool. And basically, besides Jean Grey and I guess a little bit of Madeline, most of the PvP metas are just male characters. So yeah, the anti-misogyny in me wants more female PvP metas. Yeah, beyond that, there is one other big question mark in the room behind Doctor Doom and potentially Victorious. And in order to see that, you actually have to go to the live stream announcement. I ignored this one. I saw it yesterday, but I ignored it because I didn't want to add everything in the kitchen sink to yesterday's video. But if you look at the bottom here, it says on the live stream announcement, the V1010 update is going to be bombastic. Don't miss it. Now, interestingly, if you Google Bombastic Marvel, which you would do, you get the following: Bombastic Bagman. And for any of you who are familiar with Spider-Man, you know that this is a version of him where he is a member of the Fantastic Four, and he is the Bombastic Bagman. Bombastic is not used that often in Marvel, and it's certainly most often used to reference Fantastic Four Spider-Man, which is the one you're looking at right here. He looks pretty ridiculous, I know, but at the same time, it's a new uniform potentially for Spider-Man. So I could not miss the opportunity to talk about this, because this is going to be crazy. And actually, I guess this is the deepest cut reference in Miles Morales Across the Spider-Verse, which deserved. So yeah, new uniform for Spider-Man. What could that look like? It could look pretty crazy. Obviously, Spider-Man was in the PvP meta for a long time. If he gets a new uniform that upgrades him even further for PvP, we could absolutely see a renaissance for Spider-Man. It would be on the heels of Quicksilver, which would be pretty embarrassing, because he would replace Quicksilver just one update later, like not even a full update cycle, like weeks later. And he's obviously a discounted tier 4 compared to Quicksilver, so that's crazy. But I would personally love to see that. I don't often get behind new Spider-Man uniforms because they're too often, as you can see from his gallery of outfits. But at the same time, I've been looking for an excuse to tier 4 this dude for a long time. I have a pretty sick build on him. and it would only get better from there. So yeah, I would imagine they would keep him PvP, but he's also not bad at all for PvE. You should ask Gazam. He can do some crazy things with a stacked build in PvE, mainly because he has high damage rolls on his abilities, and he has that pretty crazy 60% damage to bosses, or villains, which turns out is actually very, very strong for PvE content. So yeah, Spider-Man could get a new uniform as the Bombastic Bagman. But furthermore, if he becomes Bombastic Bagman, there's a high chance that they're going to replace one of his abilities, probably agility, with Fantastic Four. In the same way that someone like She-Hulk has the Fantastic Four tag if you switch to her Fantastic Four uniform. So if you go over here to Fantastic Four and you go to details, you can see she has it. Whereas if you go to her new uniform, that's not her new uniform. If you go to her new uniform from the show, you can see it's gone. So imagine Spider-Man with the Fantastic Four passive, and then you throw in someone like Thing. Let's say Thing gets, even if he doesn't, right? But let's say he gets a reworked passive, because he gets a buffed Family Man passive. Look at this. All Fantastic Four allies, which could include Spider-Man, 40% attack, 50% reduction in reflect, which could help counter Silver Surfer and the like. Super armor, 25% all defense, and then increase basic damage dealt to boss types by 25%. And then, so it's PvE and PvP. And then also all allies, 15% HP. That would be pretty fucking spicy. I gotta say, that could be pretty damn spicy. Imagine a PvP team of like Invisible Woman, Thing, and Spider-Man. That'd be kind of crazy. Invisible Woman also has the opportunity to become PvP. Meta. There's a lot of options here. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens, but I'm very excited for this update. It has the potential to be very meta shifting for both PvE and PvP. I'd say mostly PvP, because you have kind of like dead zone characters, like, you know, the likelihood of a combat hero male eclipsing Gladiator at this point is kind of unlikely, since Gladiator scores so high. Blast males, we know, and blast females don't really have much place in the meta for ABX, ABL, and these kinds of restrictions. And then obviously speed males are the worst. But again, for PvP, on the other hand, you have at least 3 options, right? Doctor Doom, Spider-Man, Invisible Woman easily. I mean, they could pivot and make him PvP, who knows? And then the rest of the list as well. So yeah, I'm very excited for this update. As you can tell, that's why I made a follow-up video, despite there only being one sneak peek. There was just way too much conversation, way too many topics to cover in one video. It would be like 25 minutes. I'd rather, you know, divide it into 2 and segment the things, and leave you guys with this banger here. Bombastic Bagman. What are the odds? I feel like it's 50-50. Anyways, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you're most excited for in the update upcoming, and we'll know everything tomorrow night. So it's not very long until these surprises are revealed. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you tomorrow night on the live stream. Take care.